Let's have a look at today's papers. There's a lot in them. Ali Mirage joins us this morning. Very good morning.
Lovely to see you, David, as always.
Yes, so lots of politics making the front pages this morning. Where do you want to start?
Well, where do we start? I mean, it's all about the Tory leadership contest. You see Sunday Times here, Mordaunt's gender claims undermined by leaked papers. This is all about a row that's brewing, which you saw in the Channel 4 debates about her stance on gender recognition and self-identification, and this is now becoming a bit of a fault line between her and some of the other candidates, particularly Liz Truss and Kemi Badenoch, who are implying that Penny Mordaunt, when she was Equalities Minister, wanted to water down the legislation in terms of just being of sound mind rather than actually having to sort of have this a prescription about gender dysphoria, right? So there's this whole debate going on, Penny Mordaunt saying that that wasn't the case. It was very clear that she hadn't really changed anything, that she's not in favour of self-identification. So this is now becoming a bit of a fault line.
So let's just get this really clear. So Penny Mordaunt right now says she doesn't believe in self-identification,
yeah.
But it appears that before she had said she was in favour.
Well, it looks like technically when the legislation was going to be reformed, and this was around Suella Braverman, who was the Attorney General, needing to take maternity leave. This is why they had to kind of change the legislation. It appears that there was going to be some watering down, but this is something that's now become quite murky. And Penny Mordaunt saying, no, I definitely don't believe in self-ID, and Kemi Badenoch and Truss are attacking her, saying that she does.
So I looked at the figures last night. If you look at Penny Mordaunt after that first interview, she's lost a lot of support.
Well, indeed. I mean, if you look back last week, David, as you know, the Conservative Home website, which is really the go-to place for Conservative supporters, Penny Mordaunt was leading the way last week. I think Liz Truss was slightly behind, or Kemi Badenoch was slightly behind. Now the roles have reversed.
Yes.
Kemi Badenoch's had a really good campaign so far.
So this is why I find it fascinating that the members of Parliament, again, using René's expression of reading the room, they seem to be pushing for two particular candidates. That's how I view it. But when you talk to the people who are members of the Conservative Party, they're now ranking Kemi as number one, and then I think you've got Liz Truss at 2 and Penny Mordaunt number 3. So clearly there's a disconnect going on.
That's right. And I think Rishi Sunak had a decent outing the other day. There's another debate going on tonight, as we know.
7 o'clock.
Let's see how they do. I think Rishi Sunak also took the gloves off in a way on the economy. So in that debate, and you're talking about now, I mean, the Sunday Telegraph, for example, today is saying Sunak vows to ditch EU laws holding back Britain. This is a big pitch that he's making about really bringing in, looking at all the Brexit regulations, 2,400 of them, trying to strip them back. But also, the key point he made in that debate the other night was fairy tale economics, attacking Liz Truss for her desire to reverse the national insurance increase, hold corporation tax at 19%, not increase it to 25%, and also remove green levies. And the point he was making was, where's all the money coming from? You can't just borrow in an era of rising interest rates, right? Where the Bank of England has to get a grip on monetary policy.
But where has he been? He was in the Treasury. So I would argue, well, and obviously I would argue that what has he been doing? He was absent on parade. Now, these 2,400 laws, the EU laws, they were transferred when we left the European Union to our statute book. And so when I was reading what he wants, the bonfire of EU laws, he wants to scrap or reform all of the EU law within I think the first 100 days and replace GDPR with dynamic data protection. I found myself warming to him, but I cannot support him, or I would not be able to support him, given he still wants increase in national insurance and increase in tax. People are hurting at home.
I understand, David, but the reality is that we spent 400 billion on COVID schemes of various kinds. We've got 2 trillion.
Some may be misguided.
Some may be, and there was wastage, and we know all that. And then if you're dealing with a war, mistakes are going to happen and issues are going to arise. But generally, I think his handling of that crisis was well documented and well received. And the issue now is that we need to be realistic about the fact that unless we're going to mortgage our children and our grandchildren's futures to paying back all this debt, we're going to have to tighten our belts. I mean, that's the reality of it. And he's trying to be responsible. He is a fiscal conservative. He wants to bring in tax cuts. But as Margaret Thatcher did when she came in 79, she reduced income tax, but she put up VAT in the early budgets, right? So it's about being sensible. So look, the Telegraph's got a really interesting spread from all the candidates. Penny Mordaunt going strong on war and peace and security issues. Tom Tugendhat talking about housing. Liz Truss talking about loads of things. She's talking about scrapping housing stillness, housing targets, and other things. So, and Kemi talking about getting control of immigration as a way to deal with housing. So really interesting pictures.
Okay, Ali, thank you very much indeed for the moment. We'll continue this after the break. You're watching Talk TV. We're broadcasting live from the Talk Radio studios.